Hey there everybody, how's it going? My name is Lane, and welcome back to another episode on the CraftWorks SMP. So you might recognize this room from last episode if you caught last episode. If you didn't, be sure to go and check that out. But yeah, this is the meeting room for the pumpkin resistance. And yeah, so I don't really know what all else needs to be done just yet. I am for sure going to be working on the interior in the meeting room today, and maybe some of these other rooms as well, and seeing what I can do about that. We've got a little sugarcane and chicken setup back here, and then Impala has a little surprise in store back there. I don't know what's back there. I'm a man of my word. I'm not gonna go back there. And yes, we've got a few things planned in this area, and I need to get to decorating. And well, you guys know that I am not very good at interiors. No bueno for Leno. But yeah, so I've got to get to work on some of this. I've got some of the materials in my inventory now to actually work on this. And yeah, I don't rightly know what to expect out of this. So I'm just gonna start throwing down blocks and seeing what happens, and I will see you guys here in a minute. Alright you guys, so I've finally finished decorating inside of our meeting room, and honestly, I have to say this is one of the better interiors that I have done. I am actually quite happy with how this turned out. I mean, it still needs a little bit of touching up and whatnot, but it's pretty cool. I quite like it. And I still need to remove some of my chests and things like that from in here as well, but that's something that I can do later on. I don't have to worry about it right now. So this wall that I was standing up against, this holds the water chute from up top. Now, I'm not going to show off the build that's up there. I will show that off later on. But yeah, I don't plan to show it right this second. There's also this lever here, which flicks the top of this on or off to kind of conceal whether or not you know, there's a hole in the floor up there. I'm giving too much away just by talking about this now as it is. And yeah, so the rest of the room, I basically replaced the walls that made the circular motion with deep slate tiles, and I quite like it. And this is the first time that I've actually started using the cherry wood with you know, the whole 120 update. This is the first time I've actually decided to give them a try, and I am not disappointed at all. The cherry up against the deep slate is a really nice touch, especially with the actual cherry logs being used as accents. I think that turned out really well. And well, Impala had already a set of brick stairs in one of these areas, and I actually put the cherry down next to it and thought that did not look that bad. So I decided to kind of incorporate that in each of the hallways here. And yeah, I think it adds just a little bit more character to it. It adds just enough of a difference there so everything's not too samey. And well, this is the original entrance, which I still need to patch up a new door there, but that's something that I can worry about later on. And in terms of lighting, I spread these candles around here, and well, this is one of the few times that I don't have full bright turned on, as you can see, because there's actual darkness in here. If I turn full bright on, you can see just how much brighter it gets. So the candles, they add just a bit of ambient lighting around here, and I think it's really cool. And then I added in the purple frog lights. I can't remember what they're actually called, but I added those in up top, and I think they look really nice. For whatever reason, those are looking to be facing a different direction. I don't know. Now that I've noticed that, my OCD is gonna bother me. I've got to change that. But anyway, over here we have Sarge, who is I don't know if Tobes knows this or not, but I'm basically saying that this is going to be Captain Grumble's second in command here. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And yeah, anyway, so this is the meeting table here, and I've placed pumpkin pies at each of the chairs. Now there's only, I think, 4 of us resistance members anyway, other than Captain Grumble, and so there's more chairs than people, but that's okay. I wanted it to look like this to kind of fit the size of the room. So yeah, we've got the pumpkin pies here to just kind of snack on while we are meeting about things, and recently we've gotten this new seating mod added. So essentially you can take a saddle and you can throw it on the bottom of a staircase and it'll go on like this, and then you can actually sit on the stairs, which is pretty cool. So we can all actually sit down here and have a meeting. Now, down these hallways, I've also done some interior design work as well. So in here is where we have the chicken farm and the sugarcane farm, which has been running quite a bit. The chicken farm has been running nonstop pretty much since Impala put it in, and yeah, it needs to be disabled. So this is overflowing, and I added in some storage. Partly because I was running out of room to put all of my junk as I was doing the interior in here. But yeah, so I've got the shelving and stuff in here, and I added in these little beams in the corners to add a little bit more depth to the room. And just, as you can see, I added in greenery, not just in here, but around that room out there as well. And all that, and then just added in a little bit of a carpet in here as well. And then over in this other side, I still can't show you what's behind there yet. I still don't entirely know what's going on back there either. But there is a possibility that I'm going to have to come in and change this door out or something else. So I might spoil that for myself, but it is what it is. I'm okay with that. But yeah, so this entire area just looks absolutely amazing, and I am so happy with it. This is one of the first times I've actually been genuinely impressed with my own interior work, and yeah, I can't get enough of it. I've been down here looking at it, you know, just a few times today because I can't get over it, and I am super thrilled with how it turned out. And in other news, I also took a little bit of a break today from doing all of this and getting everything set up. And I did a live stream with E, and well, I don't have any of the footage here for that. It wasn't really all too exciting other than us going netherite mining. As you can see in my hotbar, I now have 2 more items that have been turned into netherite, which is great. So now I just need to get my sword and my diamond hoe turned into netherite as well. And then that will have me fully kitted out completely, which is amazing. I really need to get that done. And yeah, that's also why I'm down to 24 levels. I didn't die, but I helped enchant some of her stuff to make it a little bit safer going in there as well. So, yeah, I think that just about does it over here for now. There is one other thing that I want to work on right now, though. And that leads me right over here into the nether. In last episode, we made that gold farm up there, which, I mean, from here, it just looks absolutely menacing. I love it so much. And in the previous episodes, we have been down here digging away at the nether hub, or what's supposed to be the nether hub. This is absolutely massive. Like, I get it looking from your screens, whether it be a phone screen, a tablet, or whatever. This room might not look that large, but you just got to understand that this is absolutely massive. This room is at least 83 by 83 and probably, I think, about 13 blocks tall. I'm not exactly sure on that. The original design would have been way bigger than this. It actually would have had me going all the way down there. And, well, that just was not going to happen because, well, that kind of defeats the purpose, I guess, of making the nether hub up here towards the roof. And, well, aside from the gas noises, we've also got all of the materials here to go ahead and get the shell of this thing started. So I think it's time to jump into a time lapse. Here we go. Alright, so it's been a few days since that time-lapse was recorded, and I have to admit that I completely forgot to record a clip talking about what I put in. So we'll get to that in a second. In the meantime, over the course of those couple days, Millie has been down here expanding on all of this and just adding to it, and she's done phenomenal with it as well. So let's go ahead and talk about all of it real quick. So you can see that I put in this central theme of using the copper, the warp stuff, and deep slate primarily. And then the towers use a mixture of other things like blackstone and different variants of the deep slate, as well as mixing in more of the copper and basalt and things like that. And it looks really, really cool. And off in each direction, I added in these little signs in the floors that show which direction you're going off into with the tunnel, which I think is kind of cool. If you're anything like me, you probably get lost easily, and that's a good thing to have. One of these down here. Even though we have the F3 screen, I prefer to have this. It's much prettier to look at. And yeah, so that is pretty much what I added in, was just these towers and all of this. And then I went back and added in all of this wool down here, the carpet. So this would pretty much spawn proof everything that's going on pretty much everywhere else, because I have yet to figure out what I want to do with it. I have a bit of an idea in mind for this area out here, and that's going to be something that I will work on soon, probably over the next coming episodes. And in these central parts here, I don't really know what I want to do with it just yet. That's something that I have got to figure out. And I'm kind of letting some of the other crafters kind of throw out ideas and see what happens with it, which is exactly what I did with Millie's stuff. So now that we're on the Millie stuff, let's just take a look. So in each individual direction, she's got a different theme going for the initial archway. So the tunnels going behind it will probably kind of all have a similar theme or something, unless we decide on something else later. I have not planned any of that out. But yeah, so we've stuck with a initial theme for the archway going down each direction. So one has this acacia and orange copper looking vibe, I guess, and then this side is crimson. That side is the warped with the aged copper, and that side is using gold along with bamboo, which looks really, really cool. That's actually probably my favorite combination from a distance. It's so bright, and I really love that. Yeah, so that's basically all that's happened down here, aside from what I did. She put in the archways and did the walls, and she used a bunch of skulk and blackstone, and basically stuck with the same color palette that I initially started with, and it looks really, really cool. So Millie, whenever you if you're watching this, thank you for adding in all of this. I absolutely love it, and yeah, I seriously appreciate this. This looks so very cool. And yeah, so if you guys have any ideas or suggestions as to what we should put out here in these central bits, let me know. Like I said, these ones out here in front of the towers, I kind of have planned out. It's going to require a lot of materials, but that's something I can work on later on or off camera, because that's going to be rather boring of a grind. But these central parts here, right in front of the portal, this is the part that I kind of have no idea on what to do with. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But for now, my mind is blanking, and maybe some of the other crafters will have some ideas as well, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, that seems to be it for here for now, I guess. So yeah, I guess we're done here. And while I'm also in the nether, I think I should probably start on my next project. And I know this is a very nether-based episode, but we're going with it. So what I have in mind is making a piglin bartering hall. And you see, I've already got the gold farm to go with it. So I figure I may as well use the gold that I get from up there to supply some, demand, I guess, for some of the bartering items, such as maybe soul speed and crying obsidian and things of that nature. I think that would be really, really cool. And I think I could make a shop out of stuff like that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a bit of a bartering hall over here for the time being. And maybe later on I will eventually move it into a better location, because I don't really know that I want it back here, but it is a good idea to go ahead and get one going. So I just need to go and get all the resources and actually kind of design this thing, I guess, and then figure out what I want to do. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to put it back here. Also, ignore the gas that's in the background. Somebody thought it was a great idea to play a little jokey joke on me. And if you look closely, you can see a deep slate block right there. This is put up there by the statue mod, and I have not yet removed it. It's actually been there since the day I put this thing up. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go get the resources, and then I'm gonna get started on making an actual bartering farm, I guess. I've never done one before, so that'll be kind of exciting. I'm not really sure how to automate it, but you know, I'm a YouTuber, so I kind of know how to use YouTube to figure that out. Yeah, so I'm gonna get started. So I got started putting together the general foundation of the chambers themselves for the piglins to be put in, and I get started making the redstone clock to dispense the gold, so this way the piglins will just automatically be fed the gold and I don't have to manually do it. And then as you see behind the system there, I start doing custom redstone work to set up a separate chamber over to the sides. This way I have more loot to gather from as time goes on. And then I get started putting together a little platform for all the piglins to spawn in, because I'm going to need plenty of those, and then I just sit AFK for a little while, getting them together and transporting them right over to their respective chambers. Alright, it has taken me absolutely forever, but this thing is finally set up, and it is quick, let me tell you. So, basically, what we have here is just a standard little chamber for, I guess, the piglins. And I've got them blocked off by these trapdoors. Not really sure if the trapdoors are necessary, but I put them there anyway. And essentially they'll try to throw all of their goods out somewhere, and instead they will land in the hoppers, which will then fill up these chests. And then I have to manually sort all of the items because I built this way too close to the ground for an item sorter, which is just an oversight on my part. That's something that I'm going to have to fix later on anyway. But yeah, so from back here, let me show you what we've got going on. We've got separate chests on each chamber that feeds into this dropper, and it puts a bunch of gold in there, and as you can see, it's filling up now from where I just emptied it moments ago. And it's basically connected up like that on both sides. And up here towards the front, we have this lever, which is on top of a frog light, which whenever you activate this lever, it powers that block, which turns on the piston, which moves the observer that's right there, and it sets up a clock that is underneath the droppers. And I've got it hooked up to where it basically sends a signal all the way around over here to this other side as well. So both of them will start shooting out the gold on their own. And yeah. So let me show you what all we've got so far. We've got a few stacks of ender pearls, we've got a bunch of these soul speed boots, we've got a bunch of ingots, soul sand, leather, we've got some obsidian, which is great because I really don't like having to collect that. And then we've got a ton of gravel, which is also great because I know from experience that building with concrete is an amazing thing, so that's going to be awesome, and I feel like I can make some sales out of that. The same with Blackstone. Blackstone is something that I've really gotten to where I really like it. And we've got quite a bit of it here, and I know a lot of other people will buy that as well. The same for the crying obsidian, but the issue with the obsidian and the crying obsidian is that it doesn't produce all that much of those. And I mean, I don't like that, especially the crying obsidian, because that's such a cool looking block. But there's not really much I can do about that at the time being. And then we've got the nether bricks, and we've got just a bunch of string, the spectral arrows, a bunch of quartz, fire charges, and then we've got the fire res potions, the water bottles, and a bunch of soul speed books. So the main items that I'm looking to sell are going to be the soul speed books, probably the quartz, the spectral arrows, the nether bricks, and the crying obsidian and the regular obsidian, and probably the gravel and blackstone. We don't really need the leather or the strings or anything else like that, because we've got other farms on the surface for that. And yeah, I might also sell some of these ender pearls as they come in as well. But for the most part, it's just going to be those few items that I listed. Now, you might have also noticed this big contraption back here. And, well, I had to get all of the piglins to spawn. So I had to put something in back here to make that happen. So essentially, this is just a big platform, and I set up this little corner here, so as I'm AFK up there, all the piglins will spawn in here, and the zombified ones will run towards the turtle egg, and they will just crowd over here, and I can get the rest of the other piglins into the chamber here, and once they get into that chamber, then they will get moved over onto this rail here, where I will give them some sort of armor, and that's to prevent them from despawning, and then I'll walk them over there and put them in the chambers, and then it's done. This whole thing can come down now because this is done, and yeah, I might keep this up a little bit longer because I might decide to add more chambers to this. That's the word I'm looking for, chambers. I might add more to it, and then again, I might also decide to go ahead and move this up several blocks, so this way I can make auto sorters for everything, because yeah, manually sorting all of that is not fun at all. So that's kind of the plan. I might leave that up for the time being just in case I need more of the piglins. And yeah, so that's basically it for here. I need to go and set up a stand, and I need to get a bunch of the items that I plan on selling and work out prices for them and get all that done. So I will see you guys back at the shopping district. Alright, I'm back over at the shopping center now, and I've got our shop put together and got some of the items moved over here. Now, as you can see, the shop is called the Lazy Piglin. That is kind of to accent the fact that I am too lazy to manually barter with them. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. But yeah, so I'm bringing over these 6 items so far, and should some of the other crafters want more items, I can expand the selection. But I brought over gravel, spectral arrows, quartz, obsidian, crying obsidian, and soul speed. Now, the obsidian variants here, those are both a little on the expensive side, but this is all that I have. I spent just a little time over there. I didn't spend too long over there today getting that together, as most of my time today was spent getting the actual piglins put in the system. But yeah, so this is basically all I've got, and I've got to make do with that for now. So I went ahead and I put this in, and it took me quite a while to find the location for it, considering the shopping center here is getting very, very packed. There are some shops going out over here at some point, and I've got another one that I'm thinking of putting out over there as well, and of course it is raining. Give me just one moment. Okay, so as I was saying, this area is just getting completely full of stuff, so I struggled getting that put together. And yeah, so all in all, we've got a lot going on out here, and there's more going on out here. Millie and Eve got something planned here, and I've got something else I want to put in at some point. It might be within the coming episodes, I'm not entirely sure just yet, but it is something that I'm excited to put in myself. And yeah, so this is basically where we're sticking this for the time being, and I'm hoping this will bring in some kind of revenue. I'm not really sure how many people are going to want the quartz or the spectral arrows, and maybe people are going to want the gravel for concrete. And I expect people to want some obsidian and crying obsidian as time goes on, especially the crying obsidian, because that is such a cool looking block. And then the soul speed book, again, I'm not sure how many people are going to want that particular book. It's not Swift Sneak, so it's not going to be as popular, I don't think, but it is what it is. I'm cool with it. But yeah, so that's gotten put in, and I'm basically done over here. I did go ahead and check out some of the shops over here just to see how I was doing in terms of profits. And we've got a couple of diamonds here, but those are E's, as I've already taken my share out of there. And then nothing is sold in here. Nothing is sold over here. And yeah, my little stand that I had right here for the magma blocks and the quartz, that actually sold out. The magma blocks, so that's really cool. So I profited a little bit today, and I just used the rest of the quartz that was in there and kind of stocked the rest of this up for the time being. So that is basically it over here. That being said, though, I think that just about does it for today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, please show your support by liking the video, commenting down below, and subscribing to the channel if you are new. My name is Lane, and I will catch you guys next time.